Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
That was the Village People. That was Victor Willis. He passed away this week.
Just this week.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I heard on the radio like you did.
Well, I got Senator Bill Ketchum, Roger Thomas, and Jeremy Smithson, our trusted intern. I looked at, when I said we're fixed to play Village People, you looked at me like I was crazy. Why'd you give me that look like that?
I didn't know you were into the Village People.
No, Mom, I'm not. Full disclosure.
Hey.
I'm not.
It was more my generation.
That was your generation. Yeah. Did y'all play that at the country club a lot when you were a bartender?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. What was your favorite Village People character? Which one was it? Senator Ketchum.
Indian.
You like the Indian?
I like the Indian.
You're the other guy, right?
No, I mean, if I had a choice, which I don't. I mean, it'd be the cop guy. You know, I thought he was coolest. Police lead singer too. He was really a police officer.
He had the best voice.
Yeah, you like the Indian, huh?
I just like the feathers.
Yeah, you like the and you like the dancers, right?
No, man. Hey, you got to admit, say what you want. They were cool. They had it going on back in the day.
Yeah, they were.
When Roger hung out at the East Fork Boat Ramp, they had it cranked up with their big boom box and their 74. What kind of cars y'all have back in the day? What was it y'all drove out there? Ford LTD?
I didn't drive nothing out there.
What was it you drove? You drove? What kind of car did you have?
No. I had a '62 Ford Fairlane.
Oh, is that what? Well, I know it's close. Ford Fairlane. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, but it's funny how Mike's the only one I know can get to the East Fork and nowhere else out there on Central Valley Road, but he knows how to get there.
Yeah.
Well, it's an inside joke. There's only like 10 people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rooster Bean. Brian Hercules has maybe figured it out.
Rooster.
Yeah.
You know Rooster?
Very well.
Everybody.
You got any dirt on him?
Everybody.
No. I got more dirt on his brother.
Oh, brother. I've heard the stories. Yeah.
And he had a brother named Terry, but Terry's the one I used to run around with. But Terry got killed in a motorcycle in 1974. Got home from the Marines and he got killed. But that's the one I used to run around with.
So I was head of equipment manager on the football team in Middle, and Aubrey was on the football team that year, and coach asked me, he said, "Where's Aubrey Bean at? Where's Aubrey Bean at?" And I said, "I don't know, coach."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, he hadn't been in his locker for 2 days. He's been in practice for 2 days." Well, he showed up at the gate, and I went over. We had closed practice, and I went over to the gate, and he says, "Let me in. I need to talk to coach." And I said, "Where you been, Aubrey?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I had a little issue." And he opened his shirt, unbuttoned his shirt, and he was bleeding. And
Really?
He got in a knife fight.
Really?
I know who done that too.
Oh, I heard some stories about it.
I said, "That's a story."
Really?
Yeah. And I even don't know what kind of knife it was. One of those banana knives, remember?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we had
Carved him up pretty good.
thanks for filling in last moment. I had Mr. Charles Jones going to come up, 96-year-old Charles Jones, and if it's any kind of inclement weather, he don't want to be out at night. He's 96 years old, and he's the one that passed Roger on the steps coming up with his cane. He like took the fast lane, man. Roger had the rail. Hey, he gets around good. Don't he get around good?
I guess so.
I
He
guess
passed
so.
me, you said.
No, he was going to come up. He did call me, and he said, "Mike," he said, "I just anytime weather like this, I just can't make
He
it."
really is a really good guy. Memory man. He can remember anything. I mean, he's still sharp. You know.
Well, I may get Bill's advice off the air. He owns part of Hickory Hollow Mall. He owns Milky Way Farm, and he owns Milky Way Farm. Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he owns
That's down in Marshall County.
part of Rivergate Mall.
Yeah.
And he owns the old hospital, I guess, at Madison. He told me, he said, Mike, he said, you know, I let Metro Police, well, his assistant let Metro Police do some, I guess, maneuvers in there.
Yeah,
And
SWAT team.
SWAT team. Well, she didn't know. I guess it's also the riot team or something. And
Yeah.
he tells me they blew up 100 of his doors, blew the blocks off. He said they ruined 100 of my doors. He said I can't get Metro to do anything. And he's a wheeler dealer now, and he's a barterer guy. He said, Mike, I think if they could fast track this development, I got to let me tell you something, man. They ain't fast tracking nothing. They ain't gonna fast track nothing. The best thing to do is you to get the media. So let me go out there and do a video. But he's a great guy. I think that thing's 200 and something thousand square feet over there.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I thought about getting Bob Freeman, a couple of them Metro guys, to Harold Love Jr. put a letter together to their attorney. Hopefully, he says about
that's a good idea. That's a good
$100,000
idea.
worth of with damage.
Yeah. Make the mayor pony up, write the check.
Yeah. He well, look at the bureaucracy though. Could you imagine Metro?
But those two guys you mentioned right there are from Nashville and just go straight to the
Yeah.
mayor. You got to start at the top.
Yeah, exactly. I know we've got Clint Hall going to call in later, but we want to pay a tribute to the late Jim Tracy. We just done a quick Facebook Live. I know you've known Jim for
25 years.
Yeah, many years. You just shared on the little video just now about I didn't realize he ran for the House.
Yeah, he ran for the House. It was in 2002. The same year I was running for the state Senate, and we ended up, how we first met, we were both lost as Easter eggs. We were going to a barbecue at an elementary school in Park City, which is outside of Fayetteville, still in Lincoln County, right before you get to the Alabama line. And we were both lost, trying to figure out. We saw this guy coming out of hayfield and this farmer, and we asked him where the elementary school was. And so that was our first meeting ever.
Oh, wow.
And he was running against Kurt Cobb and from Shelbyville. But Jim came back, and he still had the passion to serve.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I admired about him, is that he had the passion to serve and serve the people of Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, he was high energy, no doubt. So he was on the school board at that time?
That's correct.
Yeah. How many years he served on the school board, you know?
I think he was on 6 or 7 or 8 maybe, because he was chairman, and it usually takes a couple of years before you get elected
Move into
chairman,
that. Yeah. We got a chairman right here.
Or you don't show up and you get elected.
You get elected, right. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
One time I didn't show up at church. They made me the treasurer. I'm like, you don't want me to be a treasurer. I don't want to be the treasurer.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. There's a lot of truth to that. Nobody wants to do it. You're chairman of, what is it?
Historical Zoning Commission in Smyrna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, well, we had a couple people pass away, and I'm the longest been on there now, and I think that's kind of how the I was next in line, kind of.
Well, yeah, y'all have lost two great members.
Yeah, it was Carolyn Peebles and Rhonda Allen.
Rhonda Allen.
Yeah,
lost both of them.
Rhonda's one that got me as a vice when she was getting ill.
Yeah,
take over her place, and I enjoy it.
Well, you got to have folks that encourage you.
Yeah, and I really
kind of mentor you.
And once I seen her operate a couple of times, then I knew what my job really was. You know, you go in there like, man, I read about it. I know what I'm supposed to do. But once I seen her,
you have a gavel. Do you hit gavel real hard?
No. I'm on that other committee now, and I'm on that we started. It's the Smyrna Presbyterian. Well, how did it say that? I had my notes wrote down.
Smyrna Historical.
Yeah.
Committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preservation Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that.
Well,
we're starting a museum.
Well, Bill helped get this. Well, I guess it was your idea to get this started up at the courthouse.
Yeah, when I first got elected, the courthouse was in pretty bad shape, so I went to the commission and asked for some money, and then I moved IT out of that west wing across the street into the judicial building because it was empty. We'd opened a new one under Mayor Burgess, and so I said, let's make let's make a museum and let people
Oh, yeah,
remember
I've been in it. Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
let people remember where we came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Lodell was actually one of our advisors down there.
Yeah,
on this,
yeah. John's an archivist,
Yeah.
county archivist.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
guy.
doctor. He just got his
he
doctoral
did?
degree. Yeah, back in May.
So I gave. Oh, okay, that's kind of why he's acting cocky.
Yeah, he is cocky, right?
I
He
gave
won't
him.
talk to you no more.
No, I gave him and his wife and his 2 kids a tour of the Sam Davis home. Mm-hmm. I work Sam Davis 2 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday,
That's
when it's
good.
kind of slow.
Yeah.
You ever see people that let stuff go to their head?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen John Lodell other than the day that he got. I was sitting on the floor, at graduation like you normally come to, and I saw him after at the graduation. And I told him congratulations, doctor.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh, wow. I was just kidding.
I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah,
No, I did hear about
Dr. Lodell.
I heard of the story. I won't say person name because I never really knew the person. I think they've since deceased, but I think it was Larry Brandon, the former judge, was telling me he had seen somebody, guy got elected, and he called him by his first name, and the guy said, "No, it's so and so." He thought, "Oh, okay." Guy probably didn't vote for him 4 years later, neither.
Well, that's who Jim Tracy beat.
Well, I'm not saying no names. I'm not.
I didn't say any names.
Did you hear the story too?
Oh, I've heard it for years.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Matter of fact, we used it during that campaign.
Trying to be discreet, brother.
Yeah.
You know.
What?
Well, you've been working out. I can tell you've been lifting, man.
Hey, after beating cancer twice last month, I'm just trying to maintain.
Good for you. Yeah.
Just,
So when I called you, you were at the gym, right?
I was.
Man, I done took a nap. I did go to the gym working
told
out.
me you were gonna take a
but
nap.
I did take a little nap. I feel a little better when I take a little nap.
What, on the bench at the gym?
No, I tell you what, I did lift the most I've lifted just now in 16 years.
Yeah.
I did 225 8 times without sponsors.
On the bench?
Yeah. And my goal is to get back. I'm gonna do it 15.
Did you see a video I sent you? If you can't do 225, what you're supposed to do? I sent you a video. You have to check it out.
I didn't see it.
No, really, if you can't, and you can do 225, so you're good.
Well, I was scared. I'll be honest with you, man. I was afraid. I don't have to
Oh, if you don't have spine.
drop it on my chest or something. Being
Well, all you can do is scream.
you ever
Down around
seen?
your neck.
You ever seen anybody do that?
I've slid them off before back in the day. I
you
ain't
seen
done it
anybody
so
do
long.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was at Universal Health Spot when I was like 18, 19, and there was this, I don't know if he's Chinese or Indian guy. He had all these like 35, I was like 25, 10, 15, 2.5, all these little weights, and he was working it, and all of a sudden one went off, and it was set off a chain reaction. It was like, and he was just sitting there on the bench, just holding the bar, looking around, and man, it was hilarious. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Anyways, I know we've got Clint Hall on the phone, and Clint was really close with Jim. Clint, how you doing?
Doing great, Mike. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for calling in on such short notice, man. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know you and former Senator Jim Tracy are really close. Yes,
absolutely. A great friend, real mentor to me, and really kind of a father figure in a lot of ways. But I know he was had a wonderful relationship with each of you there as well. I know you said I think Senator Ketron, Mayor Ketron's there with you as well.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Clint.
I think that's wonderful. Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Great. So.
Well, Clint, didn't you help campaign with him when he first ran, didn't you?
So yes, I did. So anybody that's kind of been around politics a long time, that's just been the nature of being in politics. And so in 2002, I was involved with actually Van Hillary's campaign when he was running for governor. I just graduated college, and so I'd kind of volunteered for his campaign and just got involved in kind of different things. And then I went to MTSU, got my master's degree, my MBA, and I was getting finished in the spring of 2004. And I kept in touch with some different people and some people who you all know, Gregory Gleaves and Bob Davis. And they said, hey, you're in Murfreesboro. We've got, a great candidate who's running for state senate. We need you to meet him. They knew that I was, of course, very involved and wanted to be involved in in political things, and so I met with Jim, and we of course hit it off. I think everybody that talked to Jim probably hit it off pretty well, and you knew that he was going to be a more than a formidable candidate. That he was going to be energetic and was in it 100%. And really more than that, 110%, I should say, because that's the way Jim was. He was 110% in everything he did. And so he said, man, I really would love to have you come and manage my campaign. And so I did that in 2004. And I will say my very first, so I graduated in May, and then went straight to work for him. Our first event was the R.C. Cullen Moon Pie Festival in Bell Buckle, and I know you all know about that. And so that's right there about the beginning of June or so is whenever that is. And so that was our first event. And of course, I have to admit that everything has changed quite a bit since then. So now there's so much more that goes on in the primaries, and so things start a lot earlier. However, back in 2002, 2004, like you can remember, Bill and Mike, I mean, really the general elections were really big. So the primaries, there weren't a lot going on. So starting in June wasn't that big of a deal. And so we had our first event, and he is we go to Bell Buckle, and I actually went to Webb at Bell Buckle, so I knew a number of folks there. Of course, Jim, was from Bedford County, knew a lot of folks. And so we was just he and I there, and we just gotten our palm cards, it has his name on it, and some different things these for. And I said, Jim, we're going to split up. You go this way, I go that way. We're just going to hand them to everybody we know, kind of thing. And probably about 10 minutes after we had split up, I'm walking around, and I hear over the loudspeaker, and we've got Jim Tracy here, and we're going to be cutting the moon pie here in just a minute. I turn around, and I'm like, dadgummit, Tracy hadn't got up on the dadgum stage already, and he's cutting the moon pie in 2004.
Good for him.
I mean, and I said, and that just set the tone from that point on. I said, man, I'm talking to somebody else. He got off the stage after he got done. I said, how did you do that? He said, don't worry about it, man. I just, just an old friend kind of thing. So, anyways, that just set the tone. I think that's probably the Jim Tracy you all knew as well.
Yeah, so he was smooth now.
Indeed.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I kind of knew him. Actually, I knew him was actually Steve Willie. You remember Coach Steve Willie?
I do.
Yeah, I'd met Jim at different functions. One of them, I think, was the Blackman Barbecue.
Yep.
And anyway, but how I really got knowing him was through Steve Willie. I think he said he also used to ref games or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a great referee, and really enjoyed that, and did a lot of ladies basketball that during a period of time. And you used to tell stories about Bill Boner. He refereed a lot with Bill Boner, who was former mayor, former congressman, and he said the girls would be warming up, and Boner would call him over, and he said, Jim, he said, where the best looking woman is in this whole gym? She's up there on the third row,
Oh my God.
6 deep, and of course he had that Mayor Boner, not Jim, had that reputation.
Mayor Boner did a sprout on the was that Phil Donahue?
Phil Donahue brought his wife out there and played the harmonica, and she tried to sing.
Tracy Pio, wasn't it? Yeah. I knew him pretty well. I had a business in Nashville from 70s, 80s, and Earl Shacklett's niece is who I was married to.
Oh, okay.
And so I'd go to a lot of functions, Brenda Lee and stuff be there. And
he didn't sleep in your parking lot. Remember because he played a homeless. He grew his beard out, and he slept downtown with the homeless and hung out with them because he wanted to know about how they lived.
Well, that's commendable.
Well, sure.
But I did donate not money, but I did do some printing things for different events for him. I just donated it to him, because he already knew he was going to be mayor.
So you did the dog bone on this Bill Dog Bone Boner was his yard signs.
Well, there's some other.
I wish Jim was up here telling that story. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Has he ever?
He's told me. I've heard that story so many times.
Is it recorded anywhere?
Oh, I doubt it.
Because I think
he probably didn't want it recorded. What he Clint?
Clint, if you're still there, we're gonna play a little segment of Jim. Connor, you got it?
Yes.
Okay. Clint, you gonna be able to stay with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
go for it, man.
Let's play this clip. I had Jim up. I think was it year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
He was on the roundtable in 2024.
2020. So 2 years ago, Jim and we did a tribute for Gary Farlow when Gary retired. I hope Gary's listening. And Gary, you're welcome to call in. And Gary got a little choked up. He really did. And, it was just,
Wow.
it just really, kind of surprised me because Gary and I used to butt heads a lot. We were on the county
the
commission.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, you grow when I don't know if it's mature. Maybe it's mature. I don't know. I think when you start having grandkids, you start looking at life a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great
he just-
grandkids.
And great grandkids, Yeah. Well, let's play this clip. Clint, stick with us, okay? This is
Yes,
Jim
sir.
Tracy on with us 2 years ago.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5
We'll help you enjoy our show with us today. And Mr. Wayne, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. Doing well. I hope the Raider media blitz yesterday. I hope it went well, and I'm glad we switched around a little bit, but it's a little odd being on Wednesday morning.
I know. I got up this morning and told my mom I was head of the radio station. She says, "Why? You were supposed to have that yesterday."
I did that with the grandchildren as well, and they're not usually in tune to the date, but today is the start of school, so they had a clue. So hope you had a good weekend. I tell you what, got to be on the water Saturday, and the water on Priest was the best it's been the entire season. I guess maybe because of the rain and the heat, and it was just we probably
And online about how bad they were, and you back that up. So they're
Well,
absolutely.
we
horrendous.
we have a slip at Four Corners, and
They actually went over to Gatlinburg and had all kinds of pictures of bears.
with us, and Senator, good morning.
Good morning. I was just thinking, Wayne, I'm glad your picture wasn't on those signs with Coach Mason. They've got those signs out all over trying to promote Coach Mason coming to MTSU, and the excitement is pretty good. I know we're here to talk about other things, but new generation, new group. He's recruited a lot of new guys.
Sure has.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, all of college athletics with NIL and portal, and now the revenue sharing. It's a brave new world.
It is. But I'm glad to be here with you. We'll talk about whatever you want to. It's always fun to come on and talk to you and Rick, and I won't tell any real bad stories on you.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't you start out by telling bad stories on yourself? You can talk about childhood, family, but work. You have that in common with Rick and I, and of course, I hope at some point in time the coaching and the officiating, and your state service as a senator, and of course you went to D.C. for a little while as well. Didn't you?
I actually worked out of Nashville most of the time, but I did work for USDA, in 17 through about 20. So. But no, I'll tell you a little bit. I grew up in West Tennessee, a little town called Savannah on Pickwick Lake. Y'all were talking about the lake, and
Yes, sir.
we spent a lot of time out on the lake. Pontoon boats is sort of my favorite. I like pontoon. I have been out on a few speedboats, and that sort of took my breath away a few times. And but that's where I grew up. My dad was a county extension agent at 4-H, and he worked with farmers. So that was my background, agriculture, and there I was real active in 4-H and those kind of programs, but I got involved in sports. I love sports, played all three sports in high school, really concentrated on football and baseball my senior year, and wound up playing 4 years of baseball in college, 2 at Freed Hardeman, 2 at UT Martin, and then got out of UT Martin and thought I wanted to be a coach, and I coached for about 6 years and really enjoyed it. And moved around a little bit and coached, and then decided that I wanted to get in the insurance business, and and I got in the insurance business in Columbia, got into management, then eventually came back to Shelbyville, and I spent about 30 years in Shelbyville running my own insurance business, and got involved then at the school board, ran for school board in 96. That sort of got the taste of being a public servant. And did that for 9 years, and then ran for the state senate in 2004. I guess that's really when you and I got to know each other.
Sir.
And won that race and served 13 years in the state senate, and it was a great time at that time from 2004 to 2017. And so I had a really good run at state senate. And at that time, I represented Smyrna. Most of Rutherford County, I represented Bedford County, Moore County, Lincoln County, Marshall County. You know, we changed our district some. But so you got to meet people, and I love meeting people and visiting with people. And, you know, got to know Bud Rakes at that time. You know, spent a lot of time at Smyrna High School. So, you know, Smyrna was a small town very similar to the town that I grew up in, Savannah. You know, everybody, you know, it was just a very close community. Now Smyrna's changed some, it's grown. But that's the way I grew up. And
exploded is the term I
yeah, it is exploded. It's really changed since 2004. Really, Murfreesboro. Look what Murfreesboro's done.
Sure.
But so that's my background. But yeah, I spent a little over 3 years with USDA Rural Development, where I was the state director, where I worked across the state with different small communities, helping them with their water, sewer, and other things. So
siblings?
I got one brother,
Okay.
2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And you know, so he's still living in Cheville.
Okay.
That was a little clip of when he was on with Wayne and Rick Hall about, I guess, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's really good to hear his voice.
Yeah.
It's just good to hear his voice.
Clint, go ahead. You there?
I was going to say, you know, last year or so, I know Bill's, you know, talked to him, I'm sure, a couple of times too, and his voice hadn't sounded that good, and so it's really refreshing to hear him tell his story in his words, and that was really impactful.
You know, well, Clint, how long has your father been gone?
Let's see, my dad's been gone about 12 years now.
12?
And,
Yep.
you know, and that's when I say, you know, Jim was much like a bit of a father figure for me, just because, you know, he was there. And my dad, whenever Jim ran in 2004, it was, I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of, and Bill and you can speak a lot to this, you know, Murfreesboro and Smyrna and Rutherford County used to be very much of, you know, if you were from there, they just kind of accepted you, and that was the case. And Jim was an outsider, and he was somebody that was from another community, and so there was he needed a lot of people to kind of vouch for him and say, you know, hey, he's good people. He's somebody who we can stand behind. And, you know, in addition to, you know, Bill and you and so many others, you know, my dad had a pretty visible business on Broad Street there.
Yep.
And so, you know, whenever he put a sign in his by his business, I think that helped jumpstart a lot of it. People like Bill Sloan and other people that, you know, Bill Spivey, you know, Mayor Spivey down there, Bob Spivey, I'm sorry. You know, those are the type of people that and of course Howard Wall and other people that just gave him that legitimacy to say, you know, hey, look, this is a decent guy. This is a guy that we can get behind. And that really kind of, again, I think you all can speak about this in the political sense. It takes a bit of a perfect storm to come together in some ways, and it did in 2004 for Jim, and that really mattered, and you know, and he just became, like I said, a father figure. Whenever I lost my dad, it was 2014. That was the year that my dad died, and that was also the year that Jim, you all may remember, lost by 38 votes, and so that was a tough year in a lot of ways, and Jim and I really kind of bonded in discussion, and you know, just dealing with different things that Lord sends our way, and he found a way to deal with that gracefully, and that's just who he was.
Clint, you'll probably remember this, but Jim and I had something in common in that I was the first Republican senator in Rutherford County since the Civil War. Jim was also the first Republican senator from Bedford County since the Civil War.
Wow.
Because there was only 11 when I came in 2002, 11 Republicans in the Senate.
Yeah.
And it had been that way. The Democrats...
All East Tennessee.
Well, yeah, mainly. And we kind of broke that glass ceiling here in Middle Tennessee. And that's when we started growing and getting more good quality candidates to run. And we helped Jim with his connections statewide. He knew everybody, you know.
Yeah.
His dad was a swine specialist with the Department of Ag, and through that relationship, he knew a lot of people, and nobody ever forgot Jim. So he helped us solidify and turn the state red.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's
and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Coach Earl, who was such a impactful person, and his legacy in MTSU and in Rutherford County is second to none as well. And whenever he put his name on Jim's signed by being our treasurer, that was a huge step. I mean, like you said, it takes a bit of a perfect storm, and whenever you're doing things that hadn't been done in 150 years, like you did, and like Jim was able to do, it's special. Man, I get chill bumps now thinking about it. Those times, and
it was special.
It's really changing the course of our state. I look at times in our lives and times in our country whenever it's just there you could go in different directions, and how the fate of our state or the fate of our country, the fate of our community. I mean, it can be as big as the country, as small as a city council race. That if things had changed and gone a little bit of a different direction, how it could really affect the future and the success of that area.
That one issue, the state income tax, if you remember back in 2002, that was the issue 100%. That began to weaken the foundation that had been there for 150 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And we started chipping
Civil
away
War.
at it. Yes, Civil War.
Well, Clint, I always share this story with Clint. Well, two things I really like.
I was the second one after Keeble from Rutherford County.
Oh, well, tell that story. Tell that story. I bet people don't even know.
No, you tell the story. I mean, that's your guy.
The first black lawmaker was Samson Keeble.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we have a bust of him at the Capitol.
Uh-huh.
He was from Smyrna.
Yeah.
Or Jefferson.
Well, the reason people even know this, the media's never going to tell you this. I happened to be over at the battlefield at the new ribbon cutting at the new entrance off Thompson Lane, and I was just walking around in there, and I seen a little old newspaper clip and said Samson Keeble, and said worked as a roller boy or something at the newspaper, and I forgot what they called it back then, and it said first black lawmaker, a Republican, and I thought, what? I thought I'd never heard of this, and started doing a little research. And I thought, man, they never told us this in school. Never heard this. Well, he moved to Nashville, but he had white mentors in his life with the newspaper that inspired him. Just like Clint's talking about Jim being a mentor. We all need mentors and encouragers.
Sure.
And he only served one term, and it sounded like he had some good bills that were very pro working man type legislation. And then the Democrats come along and what's it called, where they, I guess the Jim Crow laws, where they couldn't get elected after that until they
exactly. But right after the Civil War, there were 13. Matter of fact, 13 statewide African American legislators, Senate and House, that got elected because that was a party.
And every one of them Republicans.
Yeah, because that was a party of Lincoln.
You think Phil Williams will ever tell that story?
Oh no. But
John DeBerry, speaking of Republican, John DeBerry's running down there in Memphis
as mayor,
county mayor.
Yeah, we wish him all the luck.
But Clint, one thing I want to brag on you. One of my late sister, she's been gone 2 years. She's in a nursing home. You got background experience in the nursing home industry, and and it was really tough seeing my sister. She was paralyzed and from the waist down, and had a brain injury, and she used to sell insurance, so she's always trying to sell me an insurance policy, and it's kind of funny, you got life insurance,
sign right there,
yeah, and that's what put my music therapy, because she was trying to escape a nursing home, she was singing Country Road, Take Me Home, Place I Belong, and she didn't know who I was. That's what I was like, man, this is amazing. How can someone know music but don't know my name? So I was kind of enthralled, but I remember Clint gave me some nice words of encouragement. Clint, he said, your sister is in what's that term you called it, Clint? It was like a state of peace in a sense. Clint, you remember what you told me?
Very, very much so. And I think you've got to go to the place where they're at.
Yeah.
And that's really what I remember telling you. And I think that changes the perspective for a lot of different people, is to say, wherever they're at, you need to go there. And that really puts them at peace and puts them at ease.
Well, I watched it for 6 years, and it's not an easy thing. I've got a guy Brent that works at McDonald's. I often ask him how's it going, because his dad died. He said, "Man, we're going to put Mom in nursing home," and I said, "Man, that's tough." And you've been there, you've lived it, you've seen it. But one thing I liked about your dad, I'd always see him at the auto auction, and I bartered a that blue Mustang. Had a beautiful baby blue Mustang that belonged to my wife, and I traded for that big car hauler. Remember that car hauler at GMC?
Absolutely.
It had it was a what you call like a wedge. What do you call it? Wedge truck?
Wedge.
Man, it had the big lift on the back. I loved that truck. It just took a long time to turn it. I mean, it's real long. And I sold it. I must have sold too cheap. Some dudes come all the way from Seattle and drove that thing back. So, but they caught me during that recession. Well, it was a depression for me because I was really depressed during that car business time. Cash for Clunkers really hurt us. Well, Clint, I sure appreciate you calling in. You're always so good, great to deal with. And you moved out Smithville?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm out by Center Hill Lake now, but in Murfreesboro nearly every day. And of course, my mom's there. And my brother Greg's, of course, still in the car business, and then of course my other brother passed away, but his family all lives there, and so Murfreesboro is still home to me.
Well, how you recovered? You had that bad car wreck a year and a half ago?
Yes, sir. A couple of years ago, and fully recovered, and just tremendously blessed, and I do look forward to celebrating Jim on Tuesday. I know when the service is, and I know Bill's going to be there. And I tell you, I do know this for sure. I know, number one, I know he's in heaven, and I think that's something we can all take a lot of comfort in. He had quite a battle with cancer, and my wife had cancer and has battled it, and I know Bill has, and it's been a unique conversation that Bill and I have had a lot of personal ones. Talking about cancer and talked about Jim, talked about my wife, talked about his experiences, and it's something we've just got to keep battling and do what we can. But he had so much respect for you, Mike. I'm just going to tell you, Jim was he was in awe of your ability to connect with people, and he had tremendous respect for you and just considered you a friend, and as he did so many others. But we spoke at length about just how much he admired. How much you worked and served your district and your people, and it really means a lot.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, well, thank you so much, Clint, and I guess I'll see you Tuesday then, okay?
You got it, brother. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. I know, Senator Kitcher, you got to take off. What do you want to be called, Senator or Mayor? What do you want? Bill? Okay. I know you got to go to another event with your wife. Take care of yourself, man. But, speaking of funerals, did I tell you I spoke at a Hindu funeral today?
Yes. That was kind of cool, the story you was telling.
I had my friend Roshan Bhakta, his father passed away, and I talk about weird synchronicities, and I wouldn't have known this until I just talked to Roshan. I was talking about how God works in mysterious ways, and Roshan had asked me to speak. He owns Baskin Robbins. He just spent $250,000 renovating. He had a big 250th, celebrating the July 4th yesterday, and I didn't know he passed until his father passed, until Bob asked me to speak at a cricket event of all things in Nashville. I know nothing about cricket, so I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll say a few words. You want me to hand out some trophies?" I said, "Hey, I like talk about teamwork and character building." And everybody just got along really good, and I was the only white guy in that entire place. It was pretty wild. And then one of the guys said, "Yeah." So I just talked to Roche. He said, "Man," he says, "Dad died." I said, "What?" I just talked to him. He says, "I guess you just didn't say anything." So at the funeral, they asked me to say a few words, and I was like, "What am I going to say?" I just said, "Lord, give me the words to say and the courage to say them." And I shared that dream my mom had. I told you about the dream, where I told her about Miss Tomlin. Tim Tomlin's mom had passed, and I'd put John 14:2 in my father's house, many rooms where I go to prepare a place for you, Jesus says. And I told Mom, I said, "Mom, just want to let you know Miss Tomlin died." And I bet she ain't seen Miss Tomlin in 15 years. She said, "It's strange to see Miss Tomlin in a dream." She said, "There was these two beautiful homes. They were under construction." And she said, "And Darlene, my stepsister, had been dead for 12 years, was standing beside her." What was so cool, that was Miss Tomlin's former daughter-in-law.
Oh, really?
Remember, this is my 90-year-old mother telling me a dream that she had. I recorded the dream. I don't know if I've still got, people wouldn't believe this, but I was sharing it with all these Hindus. I mean there may have been maybe one or two Christian audience. I don't know, but I was the only white guy in the entire crowd. It was pretty wild. And but I was telling them about the dream I had when my dad died, that the Lord kind of took care of it. But it was pretty wild,
Yeah, but you was back earlier, Mr. Bill was in here.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, Bill wants to be called Bill. Anyway, you were talking about Samson Keeble. People don't realize, too, that we go back there, and we know where he was born and everything, his old home place and everything.
No, that was Jerry Short's family's old residence.
Yeah,
he was born free, by the way.
Yeah, the Peyton place,
Yeah. Stony Lonesome.
Yeah,
Stony Lonesome.
You went back there and really kicked it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like mapped it out.
Yeah, we had the GPS, but the graves were all moved.
Yeah,
we got a caller. Caller, go ahead. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Mike. How you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks, man, for calling in. Ketron just had to go, and I think he's taking his wife to dinner. But I know you and Jim are real close. Figured you may want to say a word or two. Y'all were with me on the show. What was that? 2 years ago or a year and a half?
It was about 2 years ago when you and Jim Tracy and some of my comrades at the city that surprised me after I retired from the state fire marshal's office as assistant commissioner.
On your retirement.
Yep, sure did, and I truly appreciate the resolution that you passed through the General Assembly, recognizing me for that, and through the Senate and all that with the Senate sponsor.
Well, it's well deserved. And I know you and Jim were close. Who were those guys that I had that came to the station? Was it one of the guys, Cunningham, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's Ken Honeycutt, and let's see, Pettis Reed was there as a commissioner, and then Keith Bratcher.
That's right, Keith Bratcher.
Yeah, sure was.
No, it was good. You got a little choked up, didn't you? Is that okay to mention?
Yeah, I did. I tell you what.
I know that's hard to believe for a lot of people.
Yeah, it choked me up. I was honored. I wasn't. Y'all surprised me, and I was actually in Gatlinburg after I was up there receiving the President's Award for the Manufactured Housing Association. We regulated them while I was there, and they showed their appreciation on how I handled and worked with them to make manufactured housing safe and affordable and stuff like that through the state. And I was very appreciative of that, and I couldn't be on that day. And y'all surprised me, and I do appreciate it. But to talk about Jim, I'll tell you what, Jim Tracy is one of the finest men that anybody would ever want to meet or work with. Jim, I'll tell you some stories about Jim. And we actually met when Jim ran for state representative over in Bedford County, and this was before Pat Marsh got elected over there. And we met then because part of Rutherford County was that part of it was in my county commission district when I was running for county commissioner. And we met back 25 whole years ago, and we became friends. And Jim, we worked together and done things, and also his son wanted to become a firefighter, and I kind of mentored his son a little bit to help guide what he needed to do to become a firefighter. He became a firefighter over in Chevrolet, and it never worked out where I could hire him at Murfreesboro. And then Jim, later on, after I retired from the fire department, I went to work at the state of Tennessee in the Hassam administration at that time, and so I worked with Jim on legislation and stuff that would come before the state fire marshal's office. We worked together on that, and then through the Bill Lee administration, and worked with him through things there. And then Jim went to USDA. President Donald Trump appointed him to as director of the state USDA program. And once Trump finished his first term, and Jim, he had to resign. And so Jim came to work at Commerce and Insurance with us. And Jim and I traveled the state of Tennessee. We would go out here, especially when the grant programs were going on for the volunteer fire departments. We would go out and do lunch and learns and stuff like that with the volunteers. We would present them with their checks. We would have members of the General Assembly there with us. And I'll tell you what, those are some memories that I will have for the rest of my life. With Jim and I traveling the state of Tennessee together, talking about everything and having a good time. And I will miss him. I loved him. I actually got Jim lives over here. He lives over here by where I live, around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I heard this before, I went to him, and he and I sat in his living room, and I got to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
I told him I loved him. He told me he loved me.
Amen. Yeah.
I'm going to miss it.
Yeah. Well, life is short, no doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as you get older, you start losing some friends, family, acquaintances, you know. And
yeah, exactly.
Well, I appreciate your service to the great state of Tennessee and this great county, Gary. And although we butt heads on many occasions back in the day, I do appreciate your service, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. What I liked about you and I, we could agree to disagree and still be friends, and we could break bread together and still be friends, and that meant a lot. And it you know, I would come before your committee and I would be testifying up there about something.
Yeah.
You know, we're still friends, and that's what it's all about, politics. It's okay to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And still be friends.
Yeah, exactly, man. I see a lot of butthurt in Nashville. That's for dang sure. Well, I see a lot of it locally, man. It's gotten worse since Gary than me and you when you was up there, you know, on the county commission. But thanks for calling in, man. And it means a lot. And I guess I'll see you Tuesday then, brother.
Yeah. See you then, buddy. Take
right.
care.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh, yeah, Mike.
Thank you, Gary. Take care.
Yeah, see you, buddy. Yeah, Mike. I forgot to give it. I was going to give a shout out for Rick Hall. He's on the Smyrna Historic Preservation Association. He is the one that spearheads that.
Yeah,
and we do really, really appreciate him ever doing that. So we're getting there. And we've got the first few steps, but I forgot to do that. But yeah, Rick's he's
it takes a team. I mean, it's hard to be a lone ranger and get things done.
Yeah.
I learned that real quick.
Yeah.
My first bill in General Assembly was freezing the sheriff and the mayor's pay raise across the state, and I had no support. Bill Kitchen, Jim Tracy wouldn't touch it. Like, I'm not running that bill. I run that bill, had no support. Well, I did have one Democrat out of Memphis, Larry Miller. We killed about it, you know. By the way, that bill would have saved $25 million if it wasn't for taxpayer-funded lobbyists working on it. See, you know, I shouldn't get off on a tangent.
Like you said,
taxpayer-funded lobbyists. People don't even know what goes on.
I know.
Phil Williams never tell that story.
Our money's paying them to.
Amen. To get rich. They're making more than any of your elected officials. Well, the governor may be making more. Maybe.
You ever thought about getting into that later on, Mike?
Man, don't let me use profanity on the radio. Okay. No. Let's segue to our next guest. Chuck, how you doing? Chuck Isbell running for school board. Wanted to give you last 5 minutes, just like we did Roshan Bhakta on his tribute to his father and his grand opening of the day. How's it going?
It's going good.
You know, you been hitting them doors?
I've hit a few doors. Yeah,
yep.
Getting some big signs out and stuff like that.
How you feel?
I feel good.
Yep. Did you ever know Jim? Did you ever meet Jim?
No, I never met him.
Yeah, Jim was a good guy. Really was. Why are you running for school board? People may want to know.
Want to make a difference in what we do, and I want to create a safer environment for our children.
Yeah.
And I want to see some changes, and I want to, hopefully get, some new school built for Laverne or Smyrna or both.
Well, we were talking about loss just now. I mean, I knew Gary's mother and father, and I was sitting there thinking about, I was at Lascassas Fire Hall, and I hope Gary's still listening. And I had spoke up in support of Larry Farley's brother for fire captain for the county, and I think people thought I was going to be critical, of him, and I just said, he paid his dues. He volunteered for 20 years, Plus he worked at Nissan and kind of had a lot of respect for somebody that worked at Nissan like I did back in the day. And his mother hollers at me from a table, literally across the street from me, right there in front of me. She goes, I could about hug your neck like that. And I thought, uh-oh. And she said, thank you for speaking up about my boy. It was so sweet. And I know she's since passed, but you've suffered some loss. You lost your son, 4 years ago?
No, 5.5.
5.5.
It'll be 6 on Halloween.
Yeah, and Roger, you lost your son how long ago?
6 years in December.
Yeah. So talk about loss. I mean, we, I seen a post from Austin Maxwell. I think he lost his son probably 8 years ago.
I think it was 13.
10. Oh, was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Okay.
And Chuck will probably tell you, like myself, you lose a little part of you. It's just never coming back. It's just something missing the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And you think about it every day.
Yeah. Grief is hard to overcome.
I mean, I often feel like I have a hole in my chest, and it just never will heal.
Yeah.
That guy, Avery Kelleher, called me last week. I think I shared that with you. Called me last week, and he found his daughter. She had killed herself in her own closet, hung herself. Only 14 years old.
The thing about it, Chuck, we had him on the show, and he's sitting here, and I thought it something happened 2 or 3 years ago. It just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out of Winchester.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Avery's listening, but we've got to reach this next generation, man.
Yeah.
I was at the Republican Women event last week or two, and somebody said, "How do we reach?" Because I was saying, that we need to reach these kids, let the ladies know, and I said, reach them where they're at. And it's a different day to day, man. I think a lot of this media, social media, Facebook, Instagram, the peer pressure today is greater than it was when we were kids.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there. My dad's from Winchester.
Oh, really? Winchester's a beautiful area.
It's okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I've still got a lot of family that lives around there.
I took on the issue of childhood trauma, childhood sexual trauma, and a girl called me. There's a documentary out there, if folks are interested in this, called Joanna's Journey. Joanna's Journey. She was abused in the Mennonite community. Joanna's sweet girl, and she was going after those guys, and as far as I know, they prosecuted them. But I think she's the one that told Avery to call me. Well, Chuck, we appreciate you coming up, and thank you, Gary Farr, for calling in, Clint Hall, and Bill Ketron, and thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming up.
Good luck,
Roger.
Chuck.
We'll see y'all next week.